Lights, camera, Retro Man.
G'day viewers, Retro Man here and welcome to the 80s Show. Now today I'll be talking about and walking you through the best Superman book you probably don't own. Now when I say book, it's kind of really like a giant magazine. This is the item right here, guys. Superman the movie, a collector's album of the most spectacular movie ever made. That is how it's billed on the cover. And really at the time, guys, this was an epic movie. This was the original Superman movie, the original superhero film. I mean, Christopher Reeve was an unknown. You put him in that suit and his performance was just as spectacular as the special effects. This was a movie that really made you believe a man could fly. It lived up to all the hype, and on the back here is a great shot of Mr. Reeve. Now guys, I'm sure you want to check this out. This really is a fascinating book, and man, if you don't have it, you'll want to see this. So this is the cover, guys, of Superman the movie, a collector's album of the most spectacular movie ever made. And there's some great little inset shots there. There's Superman, there's Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, and Superboy. So if I flip it over to the back, as I said, we've got a great shot of Christopher Reeve in front of the American flag. And let's have a look, guys. This is a fascinating magazine, and we've got a shot of Valerie Perrine there, and we've got a number of great stills. Now on the front here we have some quotes from some of the actors. So we have Marlon Brando here, and it says, "We must preserve the myth." We also have a quote by Christopher Reeve that says, "Part of being an actor is taking risks." There's also a great Gene Hackman quote, "I really started in the business because of Brando." So Hackman really pays a lot of respect to Brando with that comment. We also have one from Margot Kidder, who played Lois Lane. "I was always imagining myself having mad love affairs with princes." So that's an interesting one. We have Ned Beatty, who is Gene Hackman, or should I say Lex Luthor's little sidekick. And what does he have to say? "Catering to 1% of the population doesn't appeal to me." So I think he's referring to that Superman has mass appeal, and that is why he signed up for the film. We've got a quote here by Jackie Cooper, and he says, "If you're successful, nobody wants you to change." We have a quote by Valerie Perrine that says, "I'm the luckiest person I ever met." And guys, there's a picture of Glenn Ford here, who plays Superman's Earth Dad, but there is no quote from Glenn, unfortunately. But let's get stuck into this one, guys. Let's have a look what we have here. So this is a great colour shot of Marlon Brando and baby Superman. And Marlon Brando at the time received one of the highest fees ever for an actor. I mean, he was only in this thing for like 5 minutes, and he really commanded a high fee. He just won the Oscar for The Godfather, and he was one of the most respected actors in the world. And he did bring a presence to this film, and he certainly sold the film to a mass populace. So if we move on here, there's a great shot of him again, little baby Superman, and we have some neat little extracts here from the comic books. There's a piece here on the Phantom Zone, and look at that, some great shots. This really is a fascinating book, as I said, and we have, look at this, Smallville, the home of the Kent family. So we've got Glenn Ford, and we've got Martha Kent, which was played by Phyllis Faxter, and look at that, some great shots. And the Great Superman Movie Contest, it says here, and look at that shot there when he first lands on Earth. And it's just full of remarkable photos from the film, some great behind the scenes photos as well. The Fortress of Solitude occupies this little area, and man, this is fascinating. The Daily Planet, of course. There's Christopher Reeve as Clark Kent, and you've got Jackie Cooper as Perry White and Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. Great shots of the cast. And what I like are these little insert pictures of the comics as well. And there's Jimmy Olsen. He was a great Jimmy Olsen, Mark McClure. Another great shot there of Chris and Margot. And Superman, the world's mightiest hero. The actors and the comics, that's really cool. I mean, you get to see who Brando looks like in the comics, Jor-El, and it's just some great comparison shots here. Christopher Reeve and Superman in the comics, etc. And that's the original comic that started it all. I mean, this is Action Comics #1 from June 1938. A great shot of the cover of that, and that's a neat still. And look at this in the centre here, we've got an action shot of Superman in the skies, and a little section here on Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, and of course he's holding some kryptonite, which is really Superman's weakness, isn't it? So guys, this is fascinating stuff. Valerie Perrine, of course, she definitely has some eye-catching moments in this film, and some more great stills of Gene Hackman, who really brought a commanding presence to the role of Lex Luthor, and he added some really light comedic touches as well. And look at all these great shots. There's some great storyboarded shots, and that's how they look in the film. And we have a section here on the executive producers, the director, who of course was Richard Donner, who later on would go to make those wonderful Lethal Weapon films, and this was a great film for Richard to have in his catalogue. Marlon Brando, of course, and that's that little statement again, we must preserve the myth. And Gene Hackman, Christopher Reeve, Margot Kidder, Ned Beatty, Jackie Cooper, Glenn Ford, Trevor Howard, Valerie Perrine, Maria Schell, they're all here. Terence Stamp, of course, who only has a little bit to do in this, but Stamp really comes to the fore in the second film. We've got Phyllis Faxter, Susanna York, we've got the production designer, John Barry, costume designer, Yvonne Blake, John Williams, who composed that wonderful Superman theme. It was fantastic. And look at that, the Man of Steel, a great shot of Chris Reeve. And look at all these fantastic colour stills that round out a magazine or book, giant magazine, call it what you will, which is truly fantastic. And Superman the movie, it is still today one of the greatest superhero films ever made, and guys, this is a wonderful accompaniment to the film. So there we have it, guys, Superman the movie, and what a gigantic book, or should I say magazine, this is. And I picked this up back in the day, guys, and it is just wonderful to have in my collection. But what I would like to know, guys, is do you have one of these? Some of you I'm sure do, but many of you probably haven't. And this is still in really good shape, and it's just wonderful to reflect on all the little tidbits that are just fascinating about this film. I mean, there's just so many behind the scenes anecdotes within. So this is a great magazine to own, and Superman the movie is a fantastic movie. It still stands tall when we talk about Superman films. And guys, superhero films in general would never be the same again after this one came along. This was really the first, it's the granddaddy, and it is still one of the ones that is critically acclaimed and fondly remembered by the masses. So it was great reflecting on Superman the movie through the pages of this wonderful giant magazine. And guys, as always, please like, comment and subscribe, and I will be back again soon with some more on Superman. But until then, guys, this is Retro Man, living the dream. 80s style. Stay gold.
Thanks for watching. Retro Man will return faster than a boomerang and just as courageous as Superman.
And guys, what can I say when I see Chris Reeve in the suit? It makes me think I need a new costume. Anyway, catch you later.
Please subscribe and good night, viewers.